special guest today, Bryan L. Salamone. What's going on, brother?
Hello, hello.
We're happy you're here.
I'm happy
We
to
are
be
happy
here.
you're here. This should be interesting.
And we have to do a shameless plug. You've seen the Verilum.
Yes, I have.
We must pop one. And you must grab one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And you must pop it with me.
The weight of this thing is amazing.
There you go.
It feels like metal.
You're grabbing here, you're holding that, and
Right.
then you're
And I'm
twisting
popping.
the pop.
Now, I was a waiter, so this should be... Oh!
Good catch.
Yeah!
That's the one. That's the
All
one.
right.
That's the one.
Good
That's
work,
how-
Salamone.
now that's better than
a
I
little
thought.
style. We like
Hey,
it.
That's the
it's
one.
a
We
celebration.
like it, baby.
Celebration.
That is fantastic. Do they clink?
Here, I'll
Well,
convert
let's
for you. Here, give me. I'm going to convert it for you.
Convert it
Oh,
for
look
you.
at that.
So then this is ready to go. We take it like that. We do this little thing, and I like to put it on the table, but I won't. And there you go, Mr. Salamone.
All right.
There's real champagne in there. I don't
And
believe
you put
drink,
your
do you?
safety goggles on when you...
No, you should have done that first.
Cheers.
All right, a clink.
Cheers, look at that.
Pleasure having you aboard.
The clink, that's
It's a Verilum.
fantastic. Wow.
So before you come, you look clean, brother, by the way. You look great. You came
Thank
here. You shine like a star in here. It's like, who's this guy? But before you were this guy, you were someone no one knew. Who were you before you were Bryan L. Salamone that everybody else knew?
I was the cook at the Pancake House right next door. That's who I was. And
This one?
Yeah, and that ruined all my Saturday nights because, you got to be there Sunday morning. And
For Andy?
I don't know his name. Yes, Andy. Oh, my God.
Holy
yes,
shit,
it
he's
was.
my landlord.
And then it was, oh, yeah, that's
the
what I was
truth.
doing there. And it was the worst job because, ruined your nights. So
Yeah.
while everyone else was out with the girls on Friday and Saturday, I was getting up at 5 a.m. to go to
But
Right,
I would submit it was a step to get here.
from there to there.
All of them are steps.
Oh, yeah, but it was a step to get there, too. That was a
No,
step
I'm saying
up
it
from
was
my
a step
paper
to
route.
lead to who you are today.
Absolutely.
Right.
I still remember the ordering system, the way it would come in. Come in 93 OE rect and up. That means 9 eggs, 3 plates, over easy,
look at
scrambled
you.
and sunny side up. And you just put that out. Orders come in, ding, they go out.
I say
Same
we
as
take
business.
a break, go over there, and you guest chef right now and see what you got.
I would do that.
I know you would. I can tell.
A lot of people want to get to the end before they start. They don't want to go through the process of. What was your process like from that working as a chef to owning your own business and being one of the best divorce lawyers in the country?
The process was standard. It was have a long plan. So throughout life, you have a long plan as well as your short term. The short term is short, get rich quick if it happens. Yeah. Long term was to be a good person, get highly educated, and get that 9 to 5 that will secure me a good life. And I could be an astronaut, a race car driver, anything I want. Rock star during the weekends. And that's what my vision was. And so I succeeded in my long plan and in the short plans as well.
So my friend over here had the exact opposite plan. He
No,
said,
I had that plan early and messed it up thoroughly.
how so?
Lost everything I owned, the house, the business, the everything. And then
And then that plan just happened. It just occurred.
necessity, the mother of invention. You go from where you are, you say, I'm never going back there, and you build from where you are. I don't run into many people with as much panache as this man has, and I've known him 20 minutes, who comes into the room and carries himself like he's something special. That's because he probably believes he is something special, that God is looking after him, correct?
Correct.
When you get to that level where it's not, and I tell these guys, I tell the people who work with me, we're going to make Verilum work, not based on effort, not based on busting your ass. We're going to make it work because we're going to do the right thing at each turn, and we're going to have help.
And that's your long-term plan, to do the right thing and to have that help and to be that person.
And if
that's
you're not
important.
that, life will run you over.
Yes, it will.
It will.
Yeah.
And if you are that, you've built in your own safety. And I am amazed and grateful that this is actually his perspective. Because on YouTube and that bullshit, this doesn't really come through.
It's just the fun comes through.
No,
yeah.
right,
Yeah,
right.
what I
You
do
know
on
what
the
I'm
weekends,
saying,
but
but-
not the long nights and going to
But
church
the fact
and
that the
things.
fun is driven from that interior person is so cool to me. There's a lot of guys out there having fun making mayhem.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody sitting next to me who's telling me I have my fun, but my primary premise is to do unto others.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's a solid. And you worked at Pancake House?
I
Weird
love
is
the
the whole
Pancake
thing.
House.
How weird is that?
That was actually a good job compared to where I had been.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
Where'd you go?
I grew up right in this neighborhood, but it wasn't a privileged upbringing. So in Long Island, all my friends, if you had your friends' parents were doctors, lawyers, dentists, and mine wasn't so much. So they had things I didn't. So you wanted to work hard and all of that, but I never saw a difference between being a good person and really enjoying life. I mean, good people jump out of planes, swim with sharks, drive race cars. It's all good.
It's all good if you come from the right direction. I find it interesting because I almost went into law, but I couldn't read.
Oh,
I hated to read.
there you go.
So I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Kind of glad I didn't do it now, but you seem pretty happy, so God bless. But, you know, so what was the path that took you from Pancake House over to getting to be a lawyer? And how long ago did that happen that you became an attorney?
Man, I've been a lawyer since I was 26 and I'm 54.
Okay.
So after the Pancake House, I didn't want to go to college. I told my parents I wasn't going to do it. I had a pretty hot car and a good girlfriend, so these things were
Those
fun.
are requirements.
I was going to sit around this area. Andy from the Pancake House said that I could be a manager one day, and I was considering it. And my dad woke me up, and he said, "You're going to college today." I said, "Why?" He had actually filled out the forms and wrote the essay to get me into a college.
That's cool.
Cool enough. I had
Divine
to go to college.
intervention.
Yeah.
There you go.
And there it was. So then I went to college, rode that out, did very well, and went home. And my dad said, "What are you going to do with your life?" I said, "I don't know." And he mentioned that my neighbor was going to law school. So I
So what were
just
you,
said,
22 at the time?
21. And I said, "Well, so am I." And
Good enough.
so that's what that was. I went to law school and found out he wasn't paying for it. So I had all sorts of loans. And sometimes, like you're saying, when you need something or when you're down, you find the wherewithal to go up. So I end up leaving law school with a bunch of loans, $98,000 worth of loans being
Back
a
in
young
the day.
kid. Oh, yeah, that would have bought a house in Long
Yeah,
Island.
back
Oh,
in
yeah.
the day, that was real money.
And then I got a job as a lawyer, and I hated it, and it was $320 a week
Manhattan or out here?
out here.
Okay.
I still didn't love the law, but you don't really have to love what you do. You just have to be good with it.
It's kind of better if you love it, but
You do.
I understand.
So expand on, you don't have to love what you do. Because some people would argue. Some people would say you have to love what you do to do it.
Right. See, I'm blessed because being a divorce lawyer, I have to ask everyone, what do you do? How long have you been doing it? How much do you make? And I find that a good percentage of the wealthy people don't love exactly what they do. They're just good at it. And a lot of it was good fortune. Being a good person, answering phone calls, not lying, not being on drugs, being in the right place at the right time can lead you to be rich. Just showing up and being good.
Yeah.
You know?
He said.
Well,
I completely agree.
It can be.
It's been my experience.
I'm glad you do.
No,
Thank
and I
you.
say to them, it's been my experience, and that's what he's saying to you.
No,
This is his observation.
Well, it really is.
So that's two crazy people saying that to you.
Take me through a dark time, though.
A dark
A
time.
time where this isn't going to work out. I need to re-plan this whole thing and
When
start
Dad
from zero.
walked into his bedroom and said, "You're going to school today."
That was one of them. I was top of the world. I was in law school. I was the editor-in-chief of the Law Review. That's a big deal. They give you an office.
Where'd you go to school?
Toro in Huntington.
Okay.
Okay, I was waiting for this.
So then
Wait, pause.
No,
My best friend,
yeah.
Larry Feldman.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the plate on my Aston out there when you
No.
walked in? Clarity, same as
Oh,
here, died at
interesting.
51 years old and went to Toro Law School.
Well, it was something going there, and it wasn't even accredited. It was provisionally accredited. I had no money, so I went there, and I was riding my bicycle to school, and I got run over. So I was in the hospital, and they said, "You're never going to read again, and you won't be able to speak."
You're never going to read again?
Yeah.
That's a pretty dark time.
That's
And
lights
you
are
were
off.
what, 26? 27?
22.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was it for me.
How'd that bounce back happen?
It was amazing. So my brother bought me a couple comic books, and I started to read comic books. And then I went from comic books to short stories, then Hemingway, and then I got my job as the editor-in-chief of the Law Review back. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Were you a reader before that?
Well, yeah, I was a law student, so you mean you read and write like crazy, and language is your craft, and I couldn't speak either. It was called aphasia. So I was speaking like someone who was mentally really handicapped.
Really?
Yeah, and there was a blood clot in the speech center of my brain. I
How
had
long did that go?
Jeez, it was years of therapy to get things back and to get my knees working and my shoulders.
So,
was
correct me if I'm
volunteering
wrong. Would
at
you
that
say
time.
that the way you feel today, because this is my theory, I'm going to submit it to you, is partially based on how grateful you are for those things you went through that seemed like they were very dark?
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I mean, back then when it was dark, I was still volunteering for my church, and I couldn't believe I was volunteering because I needed help. But I wish I didn't have to go through dark things just to be who I am. Maybe it would have been nice just to be a good person and not go through that stuff.
And I would submit to you that I don't know that anybody avoids it.
Oh,
I think
know.
it is a test that's mandated to all.
Yeah.
That travel through that and take that lesson is about. Mrs. Suprina, would you like to say something? You're invited to speak.
I want to say lots of things, but I keep them quiet.
Well, I want you to tell
Yeah.
the deepest, darkest, and the best stories so we can show the people the process. Because nowadays, I believe that we live in a microwavable culture. No one puts anything in the oven anymore.
Yes.
Let's bake. When people that put their life in the oven, so to speak, let it grow, let it simmer, let it marinate, they need to tell their stories, to tell people there's a process. So on your way out, you're reading these comic books, you're learning, you're growing. How did you keep climbing out of it to, no, I'm going to go back to law school, I'm going to do what I do, and how did faith play a part in it?
Going back to, I was going to a rehabilitation center, learning how to walk again and stuff. And I didn't get any friends from law school. They kind of dropped out. They stopped visiting you, you know? And when you can't talk, people don't really speak with you. So I went into myself, and that's where you find some faith, when you go into yourself. And I emerged. I was going through different groups. I was still going to church. I kept being a volunteer at the Northport Veterans Administration. And every day it was just a faith that if I do the right thing, things can't go wrong. And if they do go wrong, I guess that's a test. And, well, then I'm going to be ready for that.
So you're helping yourself by helping other people.
Right.
I think the truth of it is he was helping other people because he helps other people. And the byproduct of that is there's another entity who assists you when you're doing that. I believe that. You could call it entity, energy, you could call it whatever. And that's what I Am Human is about.
And that's exactly what I believe. I was going to say that in a less eloquent term. That's what I believe.
Well,
That's true.
See, I don't like to say to young people it's true,
Yeah.
because then you're telling them you think it's true. It's my experience. It happened to me. It happened to him. I don't need to tell you it's true. I'm just going to tell you it happened.
Yeah.
It's real. I'll say that.
I may be in a unique position to talk about things that are happening because I've done 24,000 divorce cases, and it's different than being a doctor. People tell me exactly what went wrong.
How many?
24,000. And that's, so now everybody in Long Island, whether you're a bowling alley manager, you work for Starbucks, you're a .com billionaire, I've talked to you and you've told me what went wrong in your lives, how you become a success or a failure. And so it's really amazing, the stuff that I've learned over the years.
Expand on some of the things that you've learned, good and bad, from dealing with so many different people, personalities, religions, races, sexualities. Tell me, what have you learned?
It's, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to be saying, oh, I forgot that. There's so much I've learned.
You can always come back. We're right here. Am I right that many guys who have way more than enough money to be content or happy or satisfied, when they get divorced, losing half of what could be divided 6 ways and still be plenty is always a disaster?
Correct. 100%.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy. The divorce laws are actually all bad. There's several flaws in each part of them, and nobody's fixing them anytime soon.
Bad how?
But I'm saying, my thing
It's
my
terrible.
thing is, I hear stories of guys who
Yeah.
are billionaires
Yeah.
who have to give their ex-wife of 30 years $40 billion or whatever, $500 million. How can that be such a critical thing?
They don't value, by the time they hit divorce, they don't value their spouse anymore as
There's
a person.
nothing there.
There's no value to them. So they'll look at a wife
They're taking.
who raised their 3 children,
Right.
and and after 20 years, they'll say, she's not worth it. She did nothing. That's what, it's a thing, and it happens to most of everybody.
And the money is mine.
There's exceptions. There's
Yeah.
other
Oh,
people.
good. I'm glad to hear this.
The exceptions come in and say, I just want to give them everything they're
Whatever's
entitled
fair.
to. And then I say, so you're a cheater. Because that's who says
90% of the time, that's who says that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they want to keep some.
So seeing
That's funny.
love kind of crash and burn and reach its climax so many times, what's your view on love? Do you have kind of a
Interesting question.
jaded view on it?
Yes, jaded. I married because I was religious. I wanted to have one wife, one child, all of that. And it didn't work out. And people live long, and the society's complex. It is very difficult to keep marriages together. It really is. I see the small things that break them up and the big things as well.
How long were you married for?
7 years.
7 good years, 7 years?
7 good years. 7 good years.
What do you think nowadays draws people apart the most instead of bringing them together?
Lack of honesty. If you get married to someone and you like pornography, you better have told them. If you want something in your life, you better tell your spouse, because this is a lifetime commitment. And if you think you're going to get away with things, lack of honesty. Say everything right up front.
So what you don't know is what's going to get you.
Yeah.
But the other
And
one
don't
doesn't
think you're
know.
going to change.
I would agree with that. And I'm
don't
married,
think you're changed.
I'm married 38 years.
And I only know you for a few minutes, and I got to tell you, you remind me of my relationship. I'm with someone 14 years, and sometimes it's not the first relationship; it's the second or third in life.
Would you get married again?
It's like anything else. When
you wouldn't.
I wouldn't get married again.
Is that because of the things that you've seen, or is that because of just personally you don't believe in marriage? But that's kind of hard for me to say, because obviously your career has something to do with why you don't want to get married.
Yeah. Well, the faith is one thing. So I got married because I wanted to do it in a church and then raise a family in a faith. And it would be nice to have my son look at me on Christmas, and have the whole thing. That's gone because we divorced. I just don't see any reason to put the county, state, or any government involved in my life. And I don't need my social security number connected to anyone else's. We're one in the eyes of God, maybe, if I love someone, but I don't need to do this again with the state, because you're just going to end up with a lawyer driving a chrome Lamborghini. That's what's going to happen.
Talk your shit, brother. Talk your shit. You got to do what you got to do.
And actually, interestingly enough, I would say that if there was a time in my life where I was not with Lisa, I would not marry again.
Is that before?
Because if I couldn't do it once, I think I'm jerking myself to think I could do it again.
I tell you this all the time, and Lisa's in the room so she can hear me. Lisa is a 1 in a million. I think I have one in terms of the woman I'm dating,
you
right?
think that, because if you don't think that, don't get involved.
100%. But Lisa is a 1 in a million type of woman.
Right.
They don't, every time we have discussions and we're talking about the outside world, they do not come like that. They just don't. Have someone go broke with you, not broke.
No, I was,
There was
800 the other side of broke.
$800,000.
When I do anything, I do it big. Broke,
Now
I do it big.
people aren't going through that.
No.
People aren't going through the bad times the way they're going
But
through.
by the way, that part of our life was part of the incident that made us work for the rest of our lives. You go through that. It's like I say about everything. When I was broke and I didn't have the money for rent, or I worried about payroll, I now, at this point in my life, I don't have an issue today that I think is worth raising to you as a concern of mine. Damn, that felt good to say. I mean,
That's freeing.
But most people in this society, and I think he'll agree, get to the level where they're making, God willing, $1 million a year, and would have 10 things to bitch to you about right now. They don't understand how far they've come from where they could be, because to them, the only place they could be is making $1 million a year. Dude, like that, you could get hit riding your bike, you could do something stupid and be to no money or less than no money, but you want to bitch because the guy who's supposed to mow your lawn didn't show up on Wednesday. That guy could not show up from Wednesday till next year. My lawn could die, and I'm good. I'll figure out the lawn issue.
Because I take care of it.
She does the lawn things. That's part of the reason.
Well, that's kind of
No, it's because I've learned not to really care about the incidental bullshit that people get themselves in a negative way about. And that's what all that energy out there is. I use out there as outside those doors.
Yeah.
You know, that people come at you 80% of the time in a restaurant, in a store, whatever, with a negative vibe because they're taking all the load of the bullshit that they should let go.
in their life. Yeah.
That should be, you know what, when I get home, the heat's on, the electric's on, my wife's okay, my kids are good, and I have food in the fridge, celebrate.
Yeah.
Why
Daily.
divorce law?
Moment by moment.
Business-wise, there's really no other areas of law. Criminals aren't selling drugs on the street corners anymore. They really aren't. They have technology.
Take Ubers.
Personal injury is not really worth anything because the big firms grab all of those.
So business decision.
Yeah. So my business decision was go where it seemed to be a huge gaping void of divorce lawyers.
And you've been practicing divorce law since the beginning.
Yeah.
When did you start practicing it independently from
interesting.
any other firm?
So my first case on my own, I was a medical malpractice lawyer, and on my birthday, I quit. I went down straight path into Wyandanch to buy a videotape or to rent a videotape, and the guy behind the counter, he says, "Are you a lawyer?" I had a suit on. He says, "I want to buy the deli next door," and I charged him $2,400. He paid me in cash right there, and then I started my company. Oh. Yeah, it was nice. I grossly underestimated how complex it was to sell a deli with a liquor license, a lotto license, ATM contracts,
So
beer
you
license.
undercharged for the 24?
Yeah, it took about 6 months to do for $2,400. But during that 6 months, he gave me, his name was, can't say his name, but he was an Afghan individual, and he had a very strange name, and he gave me like 25 clients with the exact same name.
So I posed
Did he?
you,
He was a lovely
Patel.
person. No, that's, yeah, close.
I posed you the same question.
Yes.
What point in your business career did you say to yourself, I might have fucked up. I need to get out of this. And how did you get out of that in a positive way and keep on going forward?
When I say no money, my wife had just walked out, and I was eating rice and eggs because you could do that for like $10 per week. So I'm eating rice and eggs, and I needed $500 for my mortgage payment. And called my dad, and he said, "You're smart, you'll figure that one out." And he hung up the phone. Sounds a low point.
How did you get out of that?
I worked hard. I didn't. I think that week I did 85 hours of work. So that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work and fun. So, and I stuck
He
with
dug
it.
out of it.
I stuck with it. Yeah, I didn't. Stuck with the rice and the eggs. Didn't have a relationship. Couldn't afford anything like that. Had to mow my own lawn.
Or not care.
Yeah.
So as time went on, you obviously got yourself out of a bad situation. And then, what year was it? What year did MySpace hit? Like 05?
Yeah, that was
06?
good. 04 probably was still
04.
social media.
When did you discover and start utilizing social media?
1998. Someone
Eight?
told me, they told me something about the World Wide Web, and I took some of my advertisements from the Yellow Pages into the internet. And the funny thing was the Yellow Pages didn't even get that, yellowpages.com. They slept on that.
Yeah, they fell asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they messed up.
And I called someone, and when I canceled my subscription, I won't tell you his name, he's a wonderful guy. I called him on Christmas. I said, "I'm not going to renew the print advertising." And he went, he quit his job, and he started a digital advertising, and he's got 60 acres in Old Westbury and like 20 exotic cars.
There you go.
That was like
Sometimes-
Bitcoin back then.
Well, yeah, and he believed in me because I'm, he's a good person, and he heard it. He heard, I'm not redoing print. Good people are looking at other things, and there's truth in people to say. And
Why did you have such a belief in it back in 98?
that point?
That was before it even popped.
Oh yeah, no. I had a feeling I wasn't seeing it. The internet. If you didn't advertise by October, you would not be in the Yellow Pages. You'd miss a cutoff, and you'd have another year. So I didn't have really enough money to do a big ad. So I wanted to advertise a little in October, and then as I made money throughout the year, throw my advertising out. You could only really do that effectively in the internet.
See, you don't get that back then, Yellow Pages made the rules, and if you
There was
didn't make
nothing
it,
else.
you were out, and there was no other leg up. So the guy in divorce attorney could afford the full page in the yellow pages, gave him no in.
And that was $75,000 up
Yeah.
front because they print it, so there's
For
no
the
payment
page.
plan.
And you only got a certain amount of coverage for that page. It wasn't every yellow pages in New York. It was regional. I was in the rental equipment business, so every dollar that we made, I put back into rental equipment.
Yeah.
Why not? Where am I going to put it? A bank?
Right.
So until I sold the company, I didn't have money. So when I sold the company, I said, I want to buy myself the Aston Martin, but I had a little bit of a morality challenge to, can you spend that kind of money on a car? So I came up with a solution.
Tell me.
Ready?
Because I have no such
You
talent
may not
as
like
well.
this solution.
Oh, God.
To me, it's a little immoral to spend $300,000 on a car.
Right.
I came up with an idea.
Tell me.
I had a friend of mine who went to high school with me, actually junior high with me, and he was in town visiting, and I said, listen, I want an Aston Martin, but I'm having a problem with it. So I got to give one away if I'm going to buy one. And I want to give one to you. And he goes, no, I'm not accepting it. I go, listen to me. You tell me war stories about how you got fucked on this deal, how you got fucked on that deal. I want to give you an Aston Martin. And you're going to tell me no? He was staying over. I said, sleep on it. We'll talk in the morning. He gets in the car. We're driving down the road. I go, so you sleep on it? He goes, yeah, I'm going to allow it.
Well, that's good.
And when I get to L.A. to buy him his car, we're driving around because he lives in L.A. We go to Aston Martin. He looks, and he's much more conservative than I am. And he goes, you know, I think I'd rather have a Bentley. I said, all right. So I went over there. We walk into the showroom, and it's a funny story because the guy sits there, and we walk in together, and I go, he likes the car. How much is it? I go, I'm buying it, but you got to register it to him. And the guy's like, what? And I go, and Scott sits down. His name's Scott, too. And he looks at the salesman, and he goes, we went to elementary school together, and one day he didn't have lunch money, so I loaned it to him. He's just paying me back.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Compounded interest is a bitch, boy.
That is it.
But, yeah, so
It's a micro grant.
exactly.
I like
the first
it. I like
micro
it.
grant.
How does your car and your perception on culture or where you stand in the culture, how does that reflect on your business?
Usually it's very negative because for whatever reason, pop culture, let's say rappers and young kids who are not my age group, they're not who I'm targeting. I'm basically divorces for older people and who own homes and have families. But my car's been used by most every single rapper, and half of them are murderers and all of that other stuff. So it seems to be negative. People who see you drive that car, they see you as someone, who is probably overcharging or doing some scam because the car.
Not a guy working his ass off and figuring it out.
I mean, why would anyone spend $500,000 on a car? It is what it is.
I find that interesting. I think it fascinates me that even though you see that, you don't seem to care, right? You have this thing where you don't fear judgment by
The
people,
thing with
right?
this-
and that fascinates me.
Well, wait, he fears judgment, but only his own.
Right, and
Only his own.
the not caring started the second I got it. Nobody drove these things, and I drove it daily in the snow, in the rain, and then I put more miles on a Lamborghini than any other person ever.
How many guys do you know who drive their cars?
Zero. And now this is my 8th. So by my 8th Lamborghini new, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles. It's just what I drive daily.
Yeah.
And sometimes I forget that it is a huge privilege, and it's a lot different than washing the dishes at Sunday morning next door. So I forget when he turns on his
but
car.
that led there.
It
That
really
led
did.
there. And, you know, when people look, you know, you get looks in a car, I get looks in a car. Look, it's a pretty car.
Oh, yeah.
And do I feel bad? Not this much do I feel bad. Do I feel proud to me? Not proud to you looking at me. Proud of the fact that I could do that. That's, you know, it's the American dream. But on top of that is, I think part of why I feel that way, and I'm sure of why you feel that way, is because you do good things.
I do, but I don't get any, like what it is when I'm in that car and I see a guy in a plumbing truck look at me like he hates me. I feel bad. I just don't like being better than other people. I just like what I like. I like shiny things, man.
But the shame in that is that the plumbing guy looks at you like he hates you. That's his issue. That's certainly not your issue.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. They're like, oh, how'd you get that car? What are you, a fucking drug dealer? Or,
And I don't like to see people
But actually,
unhappy.
you weren't any better than him.
Right. I'm not.
And that's the key. And that's
Right,
okay.
and why he
It's a-
thinks that
it's a-
way.
it's
But
a
that's what
uncomfortable
Yeah.
But
feeling.
by the way, that's back to I Am Human.
Of course
You in
I
the
am.
plumbing truck, the guy in the Lamborghini worked at fucking IHOP.
Right.
There you go.
So you want to get out of the plumbing truck? Figure it out.
I feel like telling him, I am you, man.
That's right,
From my
baby.
window. Look, you know,
hand
this
him a
could
hat.
have,
I'll
it
give
could have
you a
been
supply
something
hat.
else, you know?
It's true.
My girlfriend broke up when I was 13, so I ended up working, and now that yours maybe stayed with you and you didn't work, and now you're in a plumbing truck. I don't know.
Or every day you get up and do shitty things to people.
Oh, yeah, then.
Maybe
I hope
that's why you're in the plumbing truck.
And if you're in a Lambo after doing shitty things for you, then you're in then
Chances-
you end up in TV
Chances
one
are
day.
you're going to hit the wall.
Yeah, or you're on TV for the negative thing.
Right,
There it
exactly.
is. Greed, or 48 hours.
There is karma.
Yeah, I don't know. There it is.
So,
There it
as
is.
a lawyer, you obviously read a lot.
Yes.
And we're speaking a little bit about spirituality now. Do you read any type of spiritual books or believe in anything spiritual?
Well, a little bit of both. When I read stuff that's not spiritual, I have to grasp my spirituality towards it. So lately, I'm all interested in UFOs and particle physicists and stuff. In the beginning, you got to keep that in check with my real beliefs.
Don't go
You
floating
know,
off.
It is what it is, and it's fun to investigate. And the other thing, I'm reading the Dhammapada, and I believe that that Indian religion has some meditational properties that I could use.
Do you meditate?
I do, and I do. I'm not really achieving much of anything.
Why you
So
say
I'm,
that?
I'm trying.
Why do you
I
say you're
think-
not achieving it?
I don't know, because I'm buying books, asking people how it is for them, and I'm not really feeling it.
How is it for you? Because this guy meditates
Right.
every day.
I think
Yeah.
meditating saved my ass,
Yeah.
personally.
Maybe I'm meditating wrong. I like to be doing
There
something.
is no wrong meditation. There is no wrong. Maybe it'll take you a little time to acknowledge. Maybe you won't be conscious of the change that's happening.
Well, how's this? I need to be in motion, rocking, running, cycling. And I always thought if I could just be in motion while meditating, like fast walking in a circle, something, and keeping my mind clear. I just don't want to sit still. If
Sort
it's
of
just
like
just
Scott.
going around a circle with no thought.
And what I'm telling you is, when I sat to meditate for the first year and a half, it would be, I would get up and go, well, that was a waste of fucking time. I thought about 8,000 things, and that's okay. And now I realize that that still happens sometimes in a bad week. And you sit there and you go, this ain't going very well. But there's always, in a meditation, if it's 20 minutes, there's always a minute, 2 minutes, where everything comes to a rest. And I am as much of a runner and a doer and a whatever as I get it. But that peace that comes to you, when it comes to you, is you go, wow, there's space here. The way I describe it, when I'm meditating, right, I shut my eyes, and normally you shut your eyes and you're conscious of having your eyes shut. When I shut my eyes and I'm meditating correctly, there's space.
I have to achieve it.
Have you done TM, Transcendental Meditation?
No, I
You should
started
go-
to read a book and I didn't.
No, you should go and get taught.
Yeah?
It'll take you 2 classes
I
in 2
didn't
days.
even know that was a thing you
Two
teach.
classes
Look
in
at
2
that.
days, done. And then you'll know that
Who
you're
turned
doing
you on
it
to
right.
that, Scott?
What?
Who turned you on to that?
Onto TM?
Yeah.
I don't remember, babe. Who was it?
Your wife.
The girl I'm sleeping
Your
with?
wife. Yeah.
If you divorce him, you don't get half of that. You just gave him transcendental
She
meditation.
could have
that.
everything. I'll make more.
You gave him peace.
I built my meditation room, and now that the kids have left the house, I got to build it the way I want it. And I'm like, this is so cool. That empty nest shit, that's bullshit. This is
Yeah.
a good thing, the empty nest.
Oh, no.
And initially, it's hard to deal with, but my 2 sons bought homes next to each other and share a backyard that I put a tennis court in.
Very,
So life is good.
very
And I have
good.
2 grandkids. We have 2 grandkids. And that, my friend, that's a serious deal, the grandkids. That's a scary, whole new level of the game.
They say that the generation, the grandchildren, actually are formed more by the grandparents than their own parents.
Well, I believe there are cultures where the grandparents raise the kids
Mm-hmm.
so that the parents can go to work.
Yes.
Boy, that would have been nice.
Well-
Where was my mom and dad?
When I was
'Cause
in China, they did that.
That would have been nice.
Right now in China, I mean, I was there a couple of years ago. There's these beautiful parks, and they play with ribbons and do it out calisthenics. I said, "What are all these people there?" They said, "At 53, there's really no more jobs for you. It's a communist country, so that's it. They retire you at 53." and they don't give you other places to live, so you have the extended family.
So you go into the house with your kids who are working.
Yeah, and I was there as a divorce lawyer talking to the officials, and they're saying divorce nothing. If they divorce, they just put a sheet between the wall. I mean, that's it.
And go on.
It's communist country. You guys, you get one marriage.
When did you realize that social media was a kind of conduit to the life that you really want to live? Like, you have your law practice, but then you have the life. Like you said, I have my 9 to 5. Your practice is almost like your 9 to 5. But then you have your life and your love, which is what you do with your Lamborghini, social media, and telling a story through your life.
Yeah, well, I had heard about this thing, Facebook, and the person is in the room who told me about it. And I thought it was, it's for people who want to be dating or something. But I heard that if I did a 15-minute video and sent it to Bull Run, there was a company that I could be in a TV show on MTV. So I did, it was a 15-second video. So I did 15 seconds. Hi, I'm Team Salamone, something, something. They called me. And I had to get a Facebook page.
Yeah.
And so I got a Facebook page, and I did
Were you running it, or you hired somebody to run it?
Oh, it was me. I ran it.
Okay.
And I did it with iced tea and vanilla ice. It was hilarious. Just and
What a combination.
oh yeah.
How did that keep developing over time? Like,
Well,
how did you
all of a
keep
sudden,
building and building and building?
That day I had just got a brand new car, and we started driving, and became very popular. You would say your 5,000 friends filled up in like an hour.
Okay.
So then
Because of the Lamborghini.
Yeah,
that
because
credit.
it was on MTV Bull
100%.
Run. And then we got a second and a third, then a page, and it got so quick, we didn't know what to do with it. Instagram came, and we put it on private because we got nervous when it hit 10,000 followers.
Were you comfortable showing your outside life to the people that deal with you business-wise, and they see, because let's keep it 100.
Yeah,
You see your Instagram,
yeah,
you get certain opinions on who you might be if you don't know you.
right.
Were you apprehensive on putting your life, your day-to-day on social media, and kind of your, I wouldn't call it character, I would call it more who you are and who you're free being?
Right. I was far too comfortable, and I got smacked down a couple times in a terrible way.
How so?
Well, you know, I'm with a woman, so we're in a monogamous relationship. It's loving, and you know, there's all sorts of
Opinions on how it should be.
Well, the thing is, it's like a professional wrestling. It's like there's a lot of showmanship. You know, she's in her bikini, and I'm trying to be cooler than I am.
Well, from the outside looking in, people,
I mean, it's just what it is.
From the outside looking in, people would say, "Oh, this guy, she doesn't know what she's doing. She shouldn't be with him."
No, she's a gold digger. She should be with me. But either way, that worked out.
But so you're comfortable. You're comfortable with knowing
It's a good relationship. So she goes.
It works for both of them.
Oh yeah. She wants to. So we go, but I mean, she's in a bikini. I'm with her. So then you get people look at him. He represents women, and he's out there with, you know, people half his age. She's my age, first of all, so it makes me look old. And we're not doing it. So I'm not photographed holding alcohol. I'm not photographed doing terrible things. But it seems that if I'm around young, attractive people doing crazy things, it's a problem.
Perception.
you know how it's perceived. Because one of the things, like, so to be completely transparent,
Yeah.
you know, I'm honestly too honest to a fault. When Matt came in, he said, I want to interview this guy. We should interview this guy. I said, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And so I said, who gives a fuck about this guy in this Lamborghini? But then I dug into your story, and I understood that it wasn't just a Lamborghini. It came, because nowadays we live in a microwavable culture, like I said.
I like that, yeah.
Everything is popcorn
Right.
instead of the roast. Who you are, to me, is rooted in working at IHOP, working and being broke and not getting that $500 from. I'm glad you told that part of the story, because it gives a foundation to kind of the tent poles to your success.
And also where you can come from.
And
There's
where
a
you can
starting
come
point
from.
for everyone. Many people start at a level like kids in Dix Hills from a higher level, but you can start it at, and that's what the I Am Human.
And that
That's
process.
it. People will look at you, and if they don't research you, oh, he probably started with money.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
That's a perception. He
that is
can't
a
get a
perception.
Lamborghini if he
But
starts with nothing.
what I'm saying is, what you're doing is what the fuck you want to do.
Correct.
And fuck anybody who has anything else to say about it. But
Right.
does the outside affect the inside sometimes of what's going on in your household.
It does to a point, because what happened was we were going to go to Atlantic City with a guy named, well, he was a football player, and they just won the Super Bowl. And it was New York Giants, I think it was. We're going up there, and we were going to have it escorted by cops, and it was going to be a line up there, and everybody got arrested. And then people,
You were in that pack of people?
No, and I got stayed home because I was so upset that morning. There was an article about us, and the article basically said that I was kind of like a bad person. I was lecherous, that I was a show-off, and all of this other stuff.
Well, somebody quickly viewed your page, summed you up, and
Right.
published it.
And then I sent a reply. And when I say this was popular, this thing had many millions
Of
on
views,
it.
yeah.
And I sent a reply, and the reply got triple times the amount of the reviews because it was just an honest reply. And they seemed to really like that. And then all of a sudden, we got invited to crazy stuff. Hugh Hefner calls me for the Playboy Mansion for that Halloween. We started to go to Vice Media did a special on me. After Vice Media was Netflix, we did a show for them. And had a lot of fun.
How did this coincide with your practice?
It all just hurt the practice.
It
You're
hurt.
still practicing or no?
Yeah.
You said it hurt the practice.
Oh, yeah, it always does. Because the intended audience for, I have
They're
no
almost
audience.
opposite.
Yeah, and I'm not selling anything.
Right.
But apparently,
Perception.
teenage boys and 50 to 64-year-old women like me. I don't do it because I like to prepare content. I like to make films. When I was a kid, we made little horror films with Super 8 cameras like that.
Yeah.
The guy who did it with me is holding the camera right now. Right now.
What's up, brother?
You see that?
So you got a documentary coming up?
Yeah, and we're having fun.
He wanted to do the horror movies. I had the camera, and so we did the movies. And I said, hey, do you still have all that? And he told me some big story about how my mother threw it all away.
Oh, God. That'd be cool to have, right?
Yeah. But, yeah, it was great.
Well,
Great.
it's also a
Great
blessing.
childhood.
All of that happened before the internet.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So do you think because you are a divorce lawyer and the woman that you're with right now and share a life with, you know her intentions and you know what she is and where she comes from, do you think that's what makes your life with her so successful and free?
No, she's just, we're honest people. So when, she sized me up, I sized her up. We were watching some movie and it was taking place in a foreign land. And I said, I could do that. We can go there now. She goes, okay, pull out my black card. We go there. And she never left. So I never asked her to live with me or to leave. She just stays with me. We've never been apart for more than like 10, 15 hours.
And the outside stuff in terms of how it's perceived on your Instagram and other social channels, that doesn't bother her.
Yeah, it looks like she's in it for the money, and I have money, and so if she is, that would be an appropriate goal for her. I don't care.
Not your charm?
Yeah, right.
That could be part of it.
No. That's when they leave you when you're rich. That's a special type of. No.
That's bad, huh?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
How important is branding to you? I mean, you built a brand. And if I didn't know, because on your Instagram page and all your other pages, you can't see, and it's probably smart, that you are a lawyer.
Right.
All right? And you deal with hip-hop culture, pop culture, all different foreign culture. You deal with everything. You travel the world. What have you learned most about what brings people together and what makes people human?
There is a look that you can get from someone when you look right into their eyes that they're a good person.
Yeah.
And that transcends all of it. So when I was actually with the Sisters of the Poor, talking about how they need a well in a village to keep human trafficking away from them. I leave there and I go to meet 6ix9ine at the Bloods meeting, and I don't know if they're going to kill me or not, but you see in his eyes and in the sisters, they're good people down in. Yeah. So, and if you can trust that, I rarely make mistakes, and if you do,
Are we
you
allowed
get
to
hurt.
talk about Tekashi on this or no?
A little bit, yeah. He's a friend of mine.
Now, you said you knew Tekashi before he was Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
From the Tekashi 6ix9ine the world sees to the kid that was your intern, what's the biggest difference?
There really is none. Same kid. He's a great kid. It's just there's a lot of emotions when you're 19 to 25. There's a lot of hormones. Throw a lot of money at someone, and then these rappers with their beefs, there's always some nonsense.
But from what I'm understanding with who he wasn't a part of what he made himself a part of. It seemed as if he made himself a part of that to get to where he got, and it backfired extremely bad.
I think what happened was when I met him, he was in this area, and he had maybe 20, 30 people showing up at his videos, and he was Mondo talented. Mondo, he was a better video artist than any. Incredible. And some people assisted him in promoting, and those people took advantage of him, I believe. I mean, that was it. It happens to a lot of kids.
You don't think that he took advantage of them as well, and it kind of went south?
No, I don't think he planned anything like that.
I would say from the outside looking in, the best part of your success, and we've always had a problem, I'll ask you in a second what success is to you, but it's really cool to me that you have...
That is our most important question.
You have made in your head a adjustment or a settlement with yourself to say, I want to do this, and doing this is okay, and I'm going to go do that, and if it costs me something over here, so what? That's success.
I've compartmentalized.
That's fucking success.
Sociology.
When you say, if the world wants to tell me go fuck myself because I did this, well, then I guess I'm going to go fuck myself.
Yeah.
That's what I like looking at, that you don't have an apology for any of it because you know you're doing it from a good place in your heart.
That's what I like to do. And for me, success, I make bets with myself. I never cared about competing with other people. If a sport...
That's healthy.
Yeah, if a sport had a ball in it, like for example, baseball, I would throw it through the hoop and then I'd say, okay, so we're done, right? And they would say, no, you have to do that again. And I wouldn't understand why. And then whoever did that most is the winner of what, and then we're going to practice that. So none of that stuff
And
worked
if the
out.
other guy does more than you suck.
Oh, so I'm hanging out with my friends. I wanted a bicycle, and then I said I want to ride my bicycle around the world. So I did that, and then you create these little projects. So then I got my Lamborghini. I said someday I'm going to ride that around the world. Next thing you know, I'm meeting the Tokyo Mafia, and I'm at the end of a round the world trip on my Lamborghini.
If you had any advice to the 18-year-old that was working in the pancake house, what would that advice be to your younger self?
Yeah, here it is. Stick with your long game. When you're with college, when you're with people, do not screw up. Don't be the guy who's always drunk. Do not be the guy that doesn't answer calls. Do not be the guy that is always cursing and not having any faith and not being with his family. Be the other guy, because if you're with the right people and you're doing the right things, someday, somehow, you're going to get an opportunity. And if you're the guy that's been responding to phone calls, you're the good guy who tells the truth and his family, you're going to get the opportunity.
That will be recognized.
And then it'll happen, man. So just stick with the long game. Be a good person.